I don't understand how you always steal my seat. Hello, I am not going to be doing the podcast like this okay, maybe I am. This is how we are going to be doing the podcast today. Hi, welcome to my third knitting podcast. Again, it's been far too long since the last one, but I've been very busy and haven't had the most time to knit, although I do have a couple of finished objects to speak about today. And I thought I'd start with what I'm wearing because it is quite warm today and I might end up taking this off, but I wanted to show you it on because it's so much easier to talk about. It is the Future MILF hoodie that I've been speaking about wanting to knit, and I've changed it quite a bit. Most notably, there is no hood, which was just a choice I made because I didn't end up having a lot of yarn left. I think I basically finished all the yarn to knit this. And yeah, I'm really, really pleased with it. I'm having to do this really weirdly because Luna's pressed up against my back. But come on. Oh, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry, Lou. And I've also not done the colour work that says Future MILF, and I've not done the star on the back, so it kind of doesn't look anything like what the pattern should look like. I've also done 2x2 ribbing instead of the twisted rib, and that's just because I prefer how the 2x2 rib looks. What have I got to say about this? It was quite a fast, enjoyable knit, but I will say if you're kind of looking for a jumper that looks like this, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the pattern that I used for it. So this is knitted bottom up, and you kind of knit the bottom up to the armholes, and then you knit the arms separately, and then you attach them, and then you do decreases like you do raglan decreases. So I feel like if I were to make this again, or if I wanted it in a different colour, I would go top down because it just made certain elements quite difficult to try on. You can't really try it on as you go. So it was very much like a trust the process knit. And obviously it has turned out lovely. I really, really like it. I used Lilycoat Makes Axis yarn in Earthshine, and it's a really, really nice yarn. But something that's never happened to me before, which is that it grew massively whilst I was blocking it. So I made a swatch, but the pattern doesn't give you, I think it doesn't give you a row gauge, so it just gives you the stitch gauge. And so I didn't measure the row gauge, and so there were certain parts where it was for example, with the sleeves, you just knit it to a certain length, and I did that. And it was just far too long, and it just grew super, super big, and it looked completely different. It was comically large compared to how it looks now and what it looked like before. And I was fully intending I was going to cut off the sleeves, and I was going to take some yarn away and then kitchener stitch the sleeves back together. But I ended up Googling this, and a couple of people have said that if you put your project in the dryer, that it often will shrink back. So I just did that. I was kind of throwing it in for 10-minute increments, and thankfully it went back to normal, which I'm super happy about. It's it's felted the yarn a little bit, and it's made it look quite bobbly. So I only finished this a month ago, and it looks much older than a month, in my opinion, but I don't really mind that, and I'm just going to debobble it. I'm just happy that it fits how I want it to fit. So love the finished project, but don't know if I would do it exactly the same again. In fact, I definitely wouldn't, and I'm not sure I'd recommend it. But if you are interested in the pattern, the Future MILF hoodie pattern, how it looks, I would recommend it, but just be careful with your row gauge. And I think that's all I have to say about this. I've been wearing it as much as I can before it gets too hot to wear it. This is definitely one of my favorite things that I've made. It was my first time getting to properly use my Chiagu shorties on the sleeves, and I'm so happy. So I've got a couple more finished objects. I will just begin with this. This is the Keep It Together beat. I should actually check. I've got all of my notes on Ravelry. I don't know why I don't just have them up. Yes, this is the Keep It Together beanie. This is by Kuta Kika. It's in her book that I have, with Knits to Wear. It is such a fantastic book of patterns if you're looking for something really beautiful to have with like good patterns in it. And I just made this because I wanted a beanie and already had the book. So I picked this pattern. I made a couple of changes, not anything massive, but one of the biggest things was I didn't do like the double fold. So she has you do a double fold, but I didn't want that. I just wanted a single fold. So I did that. My yarn didn't hit gauge exactly right. So, and I've got a really big head. I think I talked about this in my last knitting podcast. So I cast on a load of extra stitches, which made the decreases a little bit confusing, but it's all turned out fine. Yeah, it's just a good pattern and it's really cute, exactly what I was looking for. The yarn I used is Fonty Erga in colorway number 1, and it's just this really beautiful undyed yarn, and I got this from Beautiful Knitters. So I was just like looking at all of the DK weight yarns, and this was just really beautiful and really spoke to me. I would absolutely use this yarn again and definitely want to make something bigger out of this. Yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about that. It's just a nice beanie. The next thing I want to show you is something I have been knitting on for a really long time, and I'm so glad I have finally finished them. And they are the Petal Drop socks. And I actually finished them a while ago, but I wanted to keep them nice and like freshly blocked for the podcast. And so I've not worn them just yet, but I think these will be so cute. I knit these exactly to pattern, including like how many rows of the twisted rib to do and how many pattern repeats, and then just did it to the length of my foot. If you're looking for like a really nice lacy sock pattern, I would highly recommend, especially because it comes with the video, and I was definitely quite intimidated by lace knitting, but I now realise it's not too difficult. And yeah, these are really great. These are knitted in the West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn, and this is just a really good yarn. I mean, I've not worn them, so I can't say how well it holds up, but I think I bought this yarn because Florence Miller was like, I think she has this video about, I watched it so long ago, but she has this video on, I think, her sock collection, and she really rates this sock yarn. So like, I do trust her because she has so many pairs of socks and she says it holds up really well. So yeah, I'm very happy with these and can't wait to wear them now that I've shown them to you. The next finished object I have to talk about is another thing that I've been knitting on for so long, and it is my mixed rib cami. It looks so good, doesn't it? It's so beautiful. This is just another project that took a really long time. This and the socks, because obviously they're knitted on very small needles. These were done on like 3mm needles, and obviously socks on like 2.25, I think. And both with like fingering weight yarns. So they've just taken a while, but I honestly had a really good time knitting both of them. So I don't really mind when things take too long because it's enjoyable. As Lou, you can just about see her little scruffiness. Yeah, where was I before before Luna interrupted, yeah, I don't mind when things take a long time to knit, especially when the patterns are like well written. It just makes it super enjoyable, and this was one of those. So I'm an English style knitter, and I think that's why sort of like ribbed knitting kind of takes me a while. So I feel like maybe it wouldn't take other people as long, but I started this in July of last year, and obviously like work on other things at the same time, but I am so happy with it. I think the only thing I don't love is that my cast off edge doesn't look so good. Like, it doesn't look super neat. If you're interested in this, I would definitely recommend. It's also got these like really pretty I-cord edges, which I thought was going to take a really long time to do, but actually didn't take that long to do. I managed to do all 3 of them in a day. And what else is there to say? I used knitting for Olive Merino in their cream colorway, and it's so beautiful. I can't wait to get to it. I probably should have worn this today instead of this jumper, because it is warm, but the flat doesn't get too warm, so I'm kind of actually okay, and I'm also in shorts. But I will probably come to you in another podcast wearing this at some point, I'm sure of it. Oh, I've got a finished object that I don't have with me, which is my dad's 60th birthday cardigan, and I used the step-by-step cardigan pattern, and it came out so well. My dad loves it. He wears it so much. The only thing is I didn't realize that men and women have their buttons on like opposite sides, so I accidentally did the double knitted button band as you would do like a woman's button band, and my dad doesn't mind, but it's just, how did I not know that that men and women have their buttons on different sides? So that's something in case you ever knit something for the opposite gender to you, but also it doesn't really matter because he doesn't care. I used Isia Aran Tweed and Isia Alpaca 1, so I held those both together, and it just created the most beautiful brown colour. I'm such a huge fan. When I've seen him, he has been wearing it every single day. So like if I've stayed with my parents for a week, he's been wearing it every day, and I think the yarn has held up quite well considering that. So I gave it to him in February, and it's now the end of April. So a couple months away, still looks good. Obviously, I'm hoping it lasts longer than a couple of months and looks good, but I have high hopes for the yarn holding up for years and years to come, with a bit of deep wobbling here and there. I feel like this is going to be quite a fast episode today. I don't know how I'm getting through everything so quickly, because I've definitely spent a lot of podcasts talking about fewer things for a longer amount of time. So I'm doing well today. I'm going to be moving on to my whips now. I have one whip that I've kind of abandoned since the last episode, which is the Hanny cardigan. I mentioned in that podcast that I sized up my needles because I wanted like a less structured fabric. So I bought the recommended yarn and everything, and went up half a needle size, and it just made the cardigan really big. And after knitting the body and one sleeve, I just realized I wasn't happy with it, and I've not been able to frog it just yet. Like, I still want to knit the pattern at some point and will be using the yarn to do that, but it's just working up the courage to unravel it. But also sometimes with things like that, like when I come back to it, I'm like, actually that looks okay, so I don't want to frog it just yet as well, in case I come back to it and actually do like how oversized it is, which is a definite possibility of it happening. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm kind of in no rush to get that finished because I'm not going to be able to wear it for a really long time. I'm going to wait to see once it gets colder again how I feel about that, because maybe I won't mind so much when the time comes. We'll see. Like there's no point in me doing anything with it now. So that's been put away. I don't have a lot of whips today. I think aside from the Hanny cardigan, I've just got the one whip that I'm holding. Oh no, I've got a second one. I've just not brought it through. Okay, this is one of two whips. I started this on Saturday. This has taken me 5 days. This is the Feels Right tee by Lily Kate Makes, and it's just a knitted t-shirt and it's coming along so nicely. I'm knitting it up in Knitting for Olive Merino in navy. I was thinking about doing like a non-animal based fibre, but I just love knitting with wool so much, like over plant-based fibres. I've just not found a plant-based fibre that I think would wear as well, you know, like from like the elasticity and to like holding its shape. Yeah, I'm just really not sure. I was thinking about the Knitting for Olive cotton merino, but ultimately just went for merino because I think it's going to be absolutely fine. I was thinking I could wear this into the office, and my office is so cold, so like I'm going to be hot on the way to and from the office, but then once I get there I'm going to be a good temperature. So yeah, I have made this choice, but I can see myself knitting this up in different colours and different colours as well. But so far I've just done the back piece, and then I've done one side, the other side, connected it all, and I'm now doing the front panel, and then I think there's a bit more shaping, and then I connect in the round and then just knit down, and then it's basically done. I think because of how long the mixed rib cami took me, I thought this was going to take a lot longer, but I think this is probably going to get finished quite soon, which is nice. But it's obviously in stockinette rather than mixed rib, which takes me a bit longer to do. It's just coming along really nicely, and this is my first Lily Kate Makes pattern that I've knitted. I've bought a few but haven't got around to making them. This is the first one I've knitted, and they are so well written. If you haven't made one of her patterns, I think her patterns might be the best patterns I've like ever witnessed. They are so well explained, well thought through, like the design of the garment itself. So she uses a lot of German short rows for shaping, and like I know that some people don't like them and will deliberately avoid patterns that have them in them, but she explains them in a way that is just so clear. She like labels the steps 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D, and she'll go like knit this many, turn, slip one, pull yarn, purl this many, turn, and so on until like the German short rows are done. And I've never had a pattern describe German short rows that clearly before, ever. And she's got a video tutorial of her talking through it as well. And she just makes things so simple, and she like really gets to the point, which I like. Just so thoughtfully designed and well written. So I'm a huge fan so far, and I'm sure this is going to be lovely once it's finished. I can't wait for it to be finished. Something that's interesting is she doesn't do like make one right and make one left when she does her increases. She does something called knit through the front loop and the back loop, which I found super interesting because I was thinking about just doing make one right, make one left, because I think in my head I didn't trust it, but I don't think you can see that, but the increases are actually super neat, which, yeah, I'm like always pleased to learn about new knitting techniques that I wasn't aware of before, and I don't know if it'll replace like make one right and make one left, but yeah, it was fun and interesting to do. So hopefully I finish this up soon and can show you guys. So this is my second whip, and it's also kind of an acquisition. So my sister went away traveling to like Australia, New Zealand for a couple of months, and she came back and she brought me this like lovely ball of sock yarn from New Zealand that was hand dyed. So it's also my only acquisition. I've not really been buying yarn, I've just been knitting what I have, which is unlike me, but probably to do with the fact that I'm getting married in June and weddings are expensive. Yeah, I was cut off because I reached the 30-minute limit, but I was saying that I've not really been buying anything because like I've not been buying any yarn, especially when I have yarn, because I'm getting married in June, and yeah, weddings are expensive, so I've just been knitting through what I've got, and it's actually been really fun, like picking from what you have and just getting projects that you've thought about for so long done. So it's been lovely. It's been lovely. So I'm just knitting up a sock. I'm not following a pattern. I wanted to do like a 3x1 ribbed sock. That side is so dark so you can't see it, but it is just knit 3, purl 1, and I basically just took the petal drop sock pattern and like did it for this pair of socks. So that's what I've been doing. Like that's how I've been doing the slip stitch and the gusset and everything. I've just been following that. It's been going well. It looks really nice, I think. I've still got a bit more to go. I've made it quite short because I just wanted a bit of a shorter sock. And yeah, I feel like there's not much more to say about it other than it is really nice. That's kind of everything. I have one final thing. It's not 100% knitting related, but it's also kind of knitting related, and it is this bucket bag that I made, and it's knitting related because it's to carry around my knitting projects in. So that's really fun. I'm not like very good at sewing by any means, but I do enjoy it and have fun doing it. I feel like as it's getting a bit hotter, I'm probably going to end up sewing a few more things, so might show those. But yeah, this is just a quilted drawstring bag. The pattern is by Rosie Caldwell, and she has got so many lovely sewing patterns, and I can't wait to like make more. I'm also super interested in Sydney Graham's sewing patterns. They look fantastic. I've already bought the Lane Pants pattern, but I've not gotten around to making them yet because that was a bit more daunting than this. But yeah, so I've done this, and it's just like really fun for carrying around my knitting projects. Obviously closes. It's so fun, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that is everything for today. Thank you so much for being here and watching this video, even though I don't make them consistently or nearly frequently enough. So thank you so much.